mama just killed a man, put a gun against his head, pulled my trigger, now he's dead. Goodbye, everybody, I've got to go, gotta leave you all behind and face the truth. Mama, I don't wanna die, I sometimes wish I'd never been born at all. I see a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche, when you do the fun, done go. Thunderbolt and lightning, very, very frightening me. Magnifico. I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves me.
He's just a poor boy from a poor family, sparing his life from his monstrosity.
Easy come, easy go, will you let me go? Build a wall, no, we will not let you go. Build a wall, we will not let you go. Build a wall, we will not let you go. Let me go, will not let you go. Let me go, will not let you go. Let me go. Mamma mia, mamma mia, mamma mia, let me go. Beelzebub has the devil put aside for me, for me, for me. So you think you can stop me and sing my eyes? So you think you can love me and leave me to die? Oh, baby, can't do this to me, baby. Just gotta get out, just gotta get right out here.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage of the 199, and I'm happy to see all of you here today. We have a lot to talk about and a short time to get there, so we're going to get right into it, ladies and gentlemen, because President Trump has been a very busy president, not just for the last several months, but in particular today, and all of the anti-Elon Musk, anti-Trump stuff is hitting another level. Now, I've spent the majority of my day dealing with the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal. We did a reaction over on the Geeks and Gamers Play channel, and I am not sure I've seen a roller coaster of emotions this quickly in such a short period of time, because the Switch 2 Direct was a home run. And then as soon as it was over, the prices for the Switch 2 were revealed, and specifically the games, and it has been a complete shit show on Twitter since then. What's most interesting is that a lot of people are trying to bring President Trump into it, and they're trying to blame President Trump for the high prices of the Nintendo Switch 2. Oh, God. It's all Trump's fault. It's all Trump's fault. That has been a pretty widespread thing going on right now, that they're blaming it on Donald Trump. Of course they're blaming it on Donald Trump. Good Lord, man. Like, because Nintendo hasn't been a controversial company for the last 4 decades in terms of how they treat the consumer. No. There's never been any questions about Nintendo's consumer practices. No, not until Donald Trump became president. And now it's Donald Trump's fault. My goodness. It is wild. But it's been a hell of a day. The internet is pretty feisty today. And it's been fun. I mean, I'm obviously having fun with it. We're also getting these reports that, like, Elon Musk is getting ready to step away from Doge, and it's like, that was always part of the plan. We had Caroline Levitt even address some of those rumors right here. So anyway, let me see how everybody's doing really quick. First of all, good to see all of you here on a Wednesday. Let's see. Stink Ass Cat for 50 says, God bless America. For 50, getting the party started the right way. That's what's going on. Hell yeah. Thank you. Supporting the 199 as always. McCock says, you have to drop 50 gifties on ABF because you lost a Zelda bet. You got to remind me what that was. I remember making one, but I don't remember the specifics. But I will happily do it now if you got to remind me what bet I lost. I can't remember. Tara Crystal says, Nintendo's $80 games. Krista posted on her Twitter a sales paper from 1993 showing 2 games at $40. Adjusted for inflation, that's $89.50. Yeah, man, like, it's a weird scenario because I'm always going to be sympathetic to the customer over the corporation. I'm always going to be that way. But that doesn't mean that I can automatically just change my opinion because it's the popular opinion. I grew up in an era where games were $70 and $80 at times. The prices back then were crazy. And so an $80 game that I'm going to put hundreds of hours into doesn't seem like a ripoff to me. If I'm going to put hundreds of hours into this game, I don't think $80 is a ripoff. But people are pissed about it, and I stand with the people always. I will always stand with the people over the corporation. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's strange. But Jason Platten for $100. Money for Mario Kart World or Jeremy's Super Chat. I choose my favorite fig. You give me consistent entertainment all year round. When TVs, movies, and sports go to hell, I can't wait until the woke industries controlling our favorite properties come to an end. Hell yes. Thank you, Jason. Honored and privileged that you find what I do entertaining. Thank you so much. And yeah, I mean, that's the whole name of the game, man. But yeah, I mean, I feel that, like, it's hard for me. Like, I feel like most of the time I can figure things out on the internet. I know how things go on the internet for the most part. I'm having trouble figuring out this anti-Nintendo sentiment right now because of the prices, because I know that there are people that are genuinely pissed because I've seen it. I've looked at it. I do know that. But I also know that there are people that are trying to blame this on Trump. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I got people calling me out on Twitter because they're mad because I said that I personally am not bothered by it. But I understand that the people that are pissed off by it are justified, because I am always going to be on the side of the customer, never the corporation. I will always say, if you're pissed off, let people know you're pissed off. Do not let up. Do not stop complaining, ever, because that's how you get things changed if you are pissed off. Always stand your ground, always. But it's weird. And then you've got the Elon Musk stuff is absolutely out of control right now on social media. I know that there was, like, for instance, I saw, like, some people, like, right here. Oh, my God, this is literally, look at this. Thanks, Trump. This is on my timeline. It's got 7,000 likes. So here's the prices for the Switch 2. I just opened Twitter to my For You tab, and that's the first thing I see. People blaming Trump. Trump has nothing to do with this. This has nothing to do with Trump. You have to be an idiot to believe that. And I don't think that they actually believe it. I think that they're doing it to create another anti-Trump narrative out there. That's it. Nintendo has always been like this. This is not anything breaking news. But because fucking weirdos that don't pay attention to anything, suddenly they can find another avenue to blame Trump for it. Yeah, they do. I know they think it's the tariffs because they're stupid. They're very stupid. Nintendo has always been a company that is arrogant. And sometimes they don't have their finger of the pulse of things. This is why the Wii U failed miserably. Because Nintendo, coming off the success of the Wii, was very arrogant. They might be repeating themselves right now. Their arrogance could get the best of them again, but it's not Donald Trump's fault. These people are idiots, man. These people are absolutely retarded. I'm trying to see. Yeah, I mean, I was going to show you guys something else, and that's the first thing I saw when I opened Twitter. But right here, I was having... Yeah, so there's this conversation going on because, Bruce was like, today's gamers are laughable and clueless when they cry about modern game prices. I mean, these are Super Nintendo games back in the early to mid-90s. These are Super Nintendo games. And then Roberto Blake was like, don't try to argue with them. They'll call you a bootlicker or screech about how oppressed they are, blah, 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 blah. And then this guy says it's fake news, and he goes, dude, there were $70 and $80 games back then. And I just said it. I was like, can confirm. It took a miracle and a lot of chores to convince my parents to buy me a game back then. But apparently, it's Donald Trump's fault. Apparently, it's Donald Trump's fault. This is where we are, ladies and gentlemen. Fleek for a 99-cent. Thank you. Let's see. Where you got? I caught the Switch 2 reveal earlier this morning with a Razorfish stream. I'm definitely going to get it, but I'll hold off because it's pretty expensive. Cheers. I totally understand. And I think everybody should, make sure that if it's something you're going to put time into before you make that investment. Vault 95 says, just caught up on your Switch 2 stream. Looks amazing. The actual presentation was phenomenal. It really was. Brockatron says, YouTube banned my old account for some arbitrary reason and won't tell me what for or show me which video or stream caused it. This was a few months back. Is there anything I can try? I was even gaining subs just from streaming. You would have to send me the email that they sent you. I guess there's a lot of questions that would follow that. If you want to email me, jeremy@geeksgamers.com, you can. But if there's a lot, I would need to know, did you get an email with that? If you got the email, I would need to know what the email said. And they are vague about any of these things, by the way. But yes, there are ways that you can go about getting it back. It is a little difficult, but it's not impossible. Let me see here. Jim P says, Trump needs to get the GOP Congress back on track. It's feeling like 2017 again, 199 MAGA rules. Yeah, there's a lot going on right now. Because I've been so preoccupied with the entertainment side of things, I know there's a lot going on with Anna Paulina Luna. I've seen her getting into a lot of controversy right now. I'm not sure what the specifics are around that one. I know she's been pretty loyal to Trump, and she's hot. Those are two really good characteristics to have. Loyal to Trump, and she's hot. So, I think those are two good qualities. But I got to see what the specifics are about it. But it seems like she's pissed off a lot of people, and I'm not really sure what the situation is. Darth Manning says, Xbox is better than Nintendo. Fight me. I don't want to fight a retarded person. I really don't. So I would say just stop eating glue. And that's the place I would like. Stop eating glue. That would be your first step right there. But I don't want to fight a retarded person. Thank you, Darth Manic. Devin Howard for a proper 199 says, "Here you go. Don't do anything gay with it. Hail all." Well, you know what that means, don't you? You know what a proper 199 means, don't you? A proper 199 means a celebration of assets, which always needs to be celebrated.
I'm so happy you love the first drop of my collection of Frankie's bikinis. We have more dreamy pieces coming our way, so tap to sign up for early access so you can get more information.
Should I do it?
Do not come.
I'm gonna do it.
Do not come.
I'm gonna come. Oh. Should I do it?
Do not come.
I'm gonna do it.
Forgot to turn the fucking loop off. My bad. That was my bad. All right. Operator error. All right. Just for good measure, since I messed that one up, I'll give you one that we hadn't played in a while.
877 cash now. 877 cash now. They help thousands, they'll help you too. One lump sum of cash they will pay to you. If you get long-term payments but you need cash now. Call J.G. Wentworth. 877 cash now. 877 cash now. 877 cash now. 877 cash now.
Okay, so let's get into it, and thank you for the proper 199. I really appreciate that. First things first, so this story was going around right here. Scoop. President Trump told his inner circle and members of his cabinet that Elon Musk will be stepping back in the coming weeks from his current role. Trump remains pleased with Musk and Doge, but both men have decided in recent days that it will soon be time for Musk to return to his business and take a supporting role. Musk's looming exit comes as Trump administration insiders and many outside allies have become frustrated with his unpredictability and view the billionaire as a political liability, a dynamic that was thrown into stark relief Tuesday when the conservative Judge Musk, vocally supported, lost his bid for the Wisconsin Supreme Court seat by 10 points. Now, Caroline Levitt says this scoop is garbage. Elon Musk and President Trump have both publicly stated that Elon will depart from public service as a special government employee when his incredible work at Doge is complete. This is them trying to put a spin and a narrative on it because their goal is to tear Trump and Elon apart. That has always been their goal. I'm truly like, I asked you guys this one of my my previous streams, but I think that the hate for Elon has eclipsed the hate for Trump back in 2016. Again, qualifier there is 2016 because the hate for Trump obviously in 2020 on, 2020, the beginning of 2024, 2023, and that is bigger than anything Elon's dealt with. But 2016 hate for Trump, which was the craziest thing we had seen at the time, I think the current Elon hate has eclipsed that. Your buddy for 20 on Rumble says, I remember paying $70 for Final Fantasy III back in the 90s. I think all the cartridges were that price when they were new. Only PS1 and CD-ROM games seemed to lower that standard. That's where I'm at. I mean, obviously, I can't remember specifically. Like, I remember game prices being astronomical back in the day. And they varied from place to place, man. Back in the day, you didn't have the internet where everything was accessible. Different stores would run different sales. Other stores would run a price. You didn't have the luxury of knowing what every store in town was priced at that point in time. So the prices, they varied from store to store. 1,000%. And a lot of people don't, I don't judge people on this because it's just the reality of the situation. if you are a younger person, you can't comprehend a world where the internet doesn't tell you everything. You just can't. But that's the world we lived in back in the 80s and the 90s. We didn't have all of this accessibility to knowing every single piece of information of every business everywhere. We walk into a store and we see, that, I don't know, Earthworm Jim is $75. We're not going to go, well, the store across town has it for $50 or Amazon Prime has it for $49.99. We didn't have that ability back then. It's just a whole different world, Back in my day, that's right. Back in my day, that's just how it was. Taker says YouTube super chats are pretty anti-consumer. You get 250 characters for $50, but only 350 characters for $500. I remember when 350 went for $79.99. See, I respect that take. Wizard Man says, I haven't heard this kind of hate on GTA's that's $100. You will probably. I will disagree with you on that, because if GTA 6 ends up being $100 as the initial price rollout, you're probably going to hear that type of hate. I think you might. Fantastic vs. Knox says, I'm definitely going to hold off. I have the Legion go to play games on, and I got plenty of Steam games to get zoned out on. Till there's a game that I will get me hooked on the Switch to, it's a no for me. I respect that. And the good thing is you guys are going to get plenty of entertainment from us at Geeks and Gamers by us playing Mario Kart. And you get that for free, okay? You get it for free, so you don't have to worry about it. We're going to entertain you by us playing, and with 24 players, oh my God. I'm scared of the words I might say while playing this game. Let's see. Hang on. What the fuck are you talking about, Caleb? See, retards like you. Like, who's brought up Israel? Who's brought this shit up? Haven't even talked about it. And yet here you are whining about it. You have Israel derangement syndrome, okay? Go watch Ian Carroll. He'll tell you all the anti-Israel shit you want to hear. Fucking retards, man. God, the last time I talked about Israel on this channel, I was talking about Ben Shapiro being in love with it, how he should move over there if he loves it so much. Let's see. Atari was $199 when it launched in 1977. And that's the equivalent of over $1,000 today. Yes, remember the Neo Geo? What was the Neo Geo when it came out? I mean, they didn't sell very many of them, to be fair. So they didn't sell very many. But if you remember the Neo Geo, that thing was like $600, I feel like. It was crazy. It was insane. It absolutely was. Okay, so let's talk about Trump today. Trump had his tariffs, his announcement today. Now, one thing I saw is I don't think Canada and Mexico were in this announcement, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think Canada, we got the report that Canada essentially said, if you drop the tariffs, we're going to drop tariffs. Wow, it's almost like tariffs work, Canada. All that running of your mouth, Canada. And then Canada basically said, we'll drop the tariffs if you drop the tariffs. Like, oh, so they do work. Okay, thanks for the confirmation. But let's listen in really quick.
U.S. economic fairness and backed up with some simple logic. Why play fair if they won't?
April 2nd, 2025 will forever be remembered as the day American industry was reborn. For decades, our country has been looted, pillaged, raped, and plundered by nations near and far, both friend and foe alike. This is one of the most important days, in my opinion, in American history. It's our declaration of economic independence. Production at home will mean stronger competition and lower prices for consumers. This will be indeed the golden age of America. Trade deficits are no longer merely an economic problem. They're a national emergency that threatens our security. You see the numbers. The numbers are so disproportionate. They're so unfair. At the same time, we will establish a minimum baseline tariff of 10%. I call this kind reciprocal. To any company that objects to our common sense reciprocal tariffs, again, reciprocal, back and forth, and I call this kind reciprocal. This is not full reciprocal. This is kind reciprocal.
So did
But
he
for the
back?
Democrats who are
So did he back down a little bit on him? Is that what he did? He backed down a little bit on the amounts.
opposed, well, they had their own spin on Liberation Day.
This is not Liberation
Oh,
Day.
God.
It's Recession Day.
It could be Obliteration Day.
Big old fat tax day.
Recession Day.
It's a day of chaos and cost increases.
Liberation from low prices. Yeah.
But is there an art to this deal? Israel is removing all tariffs on American products. Mexico won't go tit for tat with the U.S. on tariffs. And Ontario Premier Doug Ford says he is open to dropping tariffs. So here you go with this one.
Liberation Day. I call it Termination Day.
I think it's fair that you have tariffs on a whole number of products.
That's right. And we'd be willing to take those off tomorrow if he took all the tariffs off. We are not the problem.
If tariffs are so bad, why do you have tariffs on the United States if they're so bad? If tariffs are so bad, why do all these countries, other countries, have tariffs? But when Donald Trump is willing to go, you're going to have tariffs on us, we're going to have tariffs on you. And suddenly tariffs are the worst thing in the world. But they weren't the worst thing in the world when you decided to implement them on us. But they're so bad when they have to be implemented upon you.
Does President Trump know that you'd be prepared to do that?
He knows, and Secretary Lutnick knows that we're willing to take these tariffs off like in the next minute if he said he's taking their tariffs off.
All right. Hey, Harold, it's good to be back around the table with all of you. So I said it before you did. Let's go to you first then, Harold. I have missed all of you.
These guys, they run their mouths and talk so tough, and then they're willing to cuck immediately. And I don't know what do you think you're going to accomplish when you do that? You only make yourself look really stupid and really weak. Do you know what strength is? Strength is telling it like it is up front. Not talking a big game and then backing down and cowering when the moment finally gets there.
Go ahead.
Look at him.
So I'd say a couple of things. It is good to be back, and thank you, Dana, for the kind words. I'd say a couple of things. I listened to the president today, and I am a believer that building, manufacturing, conceiving, conceptualizing, making, repairing more things in America is the best thing we can do for our country, not only for jobs, but for our national security. We got a big hint of that during COVID. There were parts of COVID that we agreed with in terms of our response. No one agreed with COVID, but the way we responded to it. And part of the response was to ensure that we wouldn't rely on foreign supply chains, largely Asian supply chains for our pharmaceuticals, to chips, be it potato chips, which I like, or semiconductor chips, which we all need. We saw a shortage of kitchen appliances being able to be produced, cars being able to be produced because we had a shortage of these chips. Joe Biden took a swipe at it and said, look, we're going to give incentives for industry to grow up here. President Trump has said, you know what, I'm going to use trade policy as a way in which to do this. And it's unclear to me how you use trade policy the way he's using it. We've certainly used tariffs in the past in a targeted way, and it has benefited our country to shield industries in our nation that were growing, that needed some help to ensure that nations wouldn't just unload mass amounts of their goods and really drown our industries out, including steel and other things. In this instance, we're talking about putting tariffs on items that we don't produce. So the challenge is, and I think we quoted some people, Senator Kennedy from Louisiana, who I agree with sometimes, I don't agree with at times. I thought he was interesting today when he was asked about tariffs. He said, in the long run, it will probably work. The problem is that in the long run, we're probably going to all be dead. So in the short term is all that matters. I think what he was trying to say in his own unique colloquial way is that we don't produce the things that we're trying to tariff against. If we produced all of these things and said, you know what, we're gonna.
I really like. I just think we talked about this a previous stream before, but it's like I do believe that Elon Musk has taken a lot of the hate from Trump away from Trump, and I think Trump and Elon both know that. Like they're still mad about Trump, so don't get me wrong. They're still mad. But it seems to be a lot less energy behind the anti-Trump stuff right now. And I think that's because all of their energy is into Elon. Again, they hate Trump. I know they do, but they're not as foaming at the mouth as they have been because they're putting all of that energy towards Elon right now.
To protect our industry that produces high-level, high-performing engines. We're going to protect our industry that produces all of these auto parts. That'd be one thing, but we don't have the factories in which to do it. And in order to do it, we're talking 3, 4, 5, maybe as much as 7 years. And then I was glad to hear the president talk a little bit about our workforce.
It will be my POV tonight.
Well.
I'm
so
hosting
I hope
tonight.
And pray that what the president did today works.
I'm hosting
it's still
Mario
unclear
Kart.
to me how it works. And I am prayerful and hopeful that the very people the president wants to protect the most, working class Americans who put him over the finish line, I hope that working class Americans win in the short term and the long term with what the president said today.
Judge, a young friend of mine.
We're going to continue on because I do want to hear what they have to say. And I put this on Twitter. I try not to bring any of my IRL drama into my streams or anything like that. But I think people have asked me about it, asked me if I'm okay. So I'll go ahead and say it. And I'm this is the only time I'm going to address this. But I am having Elon Musk's baby. I will accept the $2.5 million plus the $500,000 per year and all my bills paid. I only ask for privacy. After you give me attention, please do not objectify me. So I didn't want to address this on stream, but too many people have asked me about it. So there you go. I will accept super chats and everything like that. But please I'm not a piece of meat. Please do not objectify me at all. And please don't say you would put a bag on my head, okay? That is very disrespectful. It's very disrespectful to say that you're willing to put a bag on my head. That hurts my feelings, and I would appreciate if you just wouldn't say that, okay? It hurts. And Elon has not responded, by the way. So, Elon has not responded. So hopefully, if there's an update, I'll let you guys know. So
Mine pointed out that the president has had this position for almost 4 decades, and that in 1987 he ran an ad in the New York Times calling for leaders to have the courage to impose tariffs. And my friend pointed out it was 3 months after he was born, so a long time coming to get to this day.
Yeah, and I think that it's indicative of Donald Trump, and he has these core beliefs and he delivers on those promises and beliefs. I think the important thing here is where we start, and we start at the point where the president is looking to reset the American economy. And the president sees inequities in certain parts of, the economy, that countries have higher tariffs on us than we have on them. And so the concept is, let's make it reciprocal. And I understand what you're saying, Harold, and you may know more about this than I do. I don't profess to be an economist. But I think that if, as the president says, they end up making products in America, then they're not going to be tariffed. And the leveraging of these tariffs and the threat of tariffs has worked for him in many ways. Companies moving to the United States, countries caving, Canada, Mexico, Israel, Vietnam, which is an incredible, I didn't realize how much.
Do we have an update on the Canada thing? Because I haven't seen if Canada, I know that he put the word out there that have we heard, because I don't think Canada is on this list that Trump presented. I don't think Canada or Mexico is on that. So I am curious about that. So I'm going to look while we're here.
Business we did with Vietnam, textiles, and because of its strategic location, natural gas and all that stuff. But, what he's doing is he's targeting the American economy to benefit the blue collar worker. And he's trying to bring manufacturing back to this country and making sure that since we're the biggest consumer in the world, why aren't we leveraging that power in a way to not only benefit Americans, but to benefit American workers? And look, think about it. You go to Costco, you buy in bulk, you pay less. The same with Sam's. You go there, you buy in bulk, you pay less. We buy in bulk and pay more. And that's what's backwards about it. And we've got to stop treating other countries like they're third world countries and like they need an advantage and, they desperately need our help to have their economies work.
And again, and I'm going to play something I've played a few times before, but this is just a reminder. Donald Trump has always been like this. Donald Trump has been consistent for 35 years.
Last year criticizing U.S. foreign policy. What would you do differently, Donald?
I'd make our allies, forgetting about the enemies you can't talk to so easily, I'd make our allies pay their fair share. We're a debtor nation. Something's going to happen over the next number of years with this country, because you can't keep going on losing $200 billion, and yet we let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it, Oprah. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. They don't have laws against it. They just make it impossible. They come over here, they sell their cars, their VCRs, they knock the hell out of our companies. And hey, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese people. I mean, you can respect somebody that's beating the hell out of you, but they are beating the hell out of this country. Kuwait, they live like kings. The poorest person in Kuwait, they live like kings. And yet they're not paying. We make it possible for them to sell their oil. Why aren't they paying us 25% of what they're making? It's a joke.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not. But I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off.
Why would you not?
I just don't think I really have the inclination to do it. I love what I'm doing. I really like it.
Also, it doesn't pay as well.
No, it doesn't. But, you know, I just probably wouldn't do it, Oprah. I probably wouldn't, but I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country. And if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally, because I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're really making other people live like kings, and we're not.
What do you think of this year's presidential race, the way it's shaping up?
Well, it's going to be very interesting. I think that probably George Bush has an advantage in terms of the election. I think that probably people would say that he's got like that little edge in terms of the incumbency, et cetera, et cetera. But I think Jesse Jackson's done himself very proud. I think Michael Dukakis has done one hell of a job.
Old Dukakis.
And George Bush has done a hell of a job. You know, they all went in there sort of as semi-underdogs, including George Bush, and they've all come out. I think people that are around all three of those candidates can be very proud of the jobs they've done.
You've said, though, that if you did run for president, you believe you'd win.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd win. I tell you what, I wouldn't go in to lose. I've never gone in to lose in my life. And if I did decide to do it, I think I'd be inclined. I would say that I would have a hell of a chance of winning, because I think people, I don't know how your audience feels, but I think people are tired of seeing the United States ripped off. And I can't promise you everything, but I can tell you one thing. This country would make one hell of a lot of money from those people that for 25 years have taken advantage. It wouldn't be the way it's been, believe me.
And if you want to see a glimpse into the future, I got this one for you right here. Here you go.
President of the United States of America, Donald President of the United States. President of the United States of America, Donald President of the United States.
Leading all the way to Barron 2044, baby. Let's go. Oh, man. I love watching these, their brains break.
For them. But I think in the end, I think that the president is doing everything he can to reset the economy, and it makes sense to me.
Greg, I was thinking about how last November people had two choices, right? There was somebody who drove up the cost of everything through the so-called Inflation Reduction Act for the sake of climate change, Green New Deal, or somebody who believed that tariffs were a good way to reset manufacturing in the country. And they made their choice, and now we'll find out how it works.
Yeah, it's very confusing when you notice the that montage of Democrats. The Liberation Day was very, very confusing in D.C. because usually that means when Jerry Nadler forgets to wear a belt. Canada, apparently they're throwing tariffs on manatee meat and bovine semen, which means The View is very unhappy. Oh, I have to say, it's great watching Trump going on that chart country by country. I mean, what a difference from Joe Biden, who couldn't find Japan on a map of Japan. So it was nice to see. But you know what? Harold is incredibly naive when it comes to tariffs, and it's almost precious to listen to him prattle on about it. Sometimes I just want to cradle him in my arms and go, there. But so let me explain tariffs to you, Dana, because sometimes you listen. It's all about negotiations. So let's say Dana on the 5 talks too much. And it eats into my time. So I call my agent. We talk about it. The agent calls the producers and said, look, from now on, Gutfeld gets 5 minutes of uninterrupted showtime at the end of the show. Of course, the producers are terrified of Dana because she's a monster, but it throws everybody into a panic. So then there's a meeting. We discuss it. And after a compromise, based on fairness, I decide to withdraw my talk tariff because a compromise has been made in which I gave up something that I never really had to begin with. Trump does this all the time.
Yes.
He creates an asset out of nothing and then trades it. It's amazing. It's amazing. He did that kind of like with Mexico, the implication of military force, and then he removes it. He did it with North Korea. He had this implication like we could bomb you, but we're not. Takes it off the table. Suddenly, we don't hear about North Korea anymore. So you could see that the operating system of Trump is reciprocity. And it's both big and it's small. It could be with countries or it could be with Bill Maher. If you make fun of him, he's going to make fun of you. If you tariff us, we will tariff you.
This is so perfect because Donald Trump is not a complicated individual at all. He's a very kind of like straightforward guy. What Greg is saying is so spot on. He does not take the first shot. That's not who he is. Donald Trump has never been a person that's just like, I'm just going to attack this person for no reason. He's a counter puncher. If you go after Trump, he's going to hit you back twice as hard. It's that simple. That's how he operates. This is a perfect analogy right here.
It's both big and it's small. It could be with countries or it could be with Bill Maher. If you make fun of him, he's going to make fun of you. If you tariff us, we will tariff you. Conversely, if you do him right, he will never forget it. He will do you a solid.
Yes.
He's that loyal. The only thing I would caution against is when people report on it to keep saying if Canada changes its mind to say they caved, because that's a big obstacle in this. You know, the last thing you want to do is make negotiations seem like a weakness.
Let me hear what he said one more time on that one. Hang on.
It changes its mind. Caution against is when people report on it to keep saying if Canada changes its mind to say they caved, because that's a big obstacle in this. You know, the last thing you want to do is make negotiations seem like a weakness. Cooperation is strong. It's not weak. So if Canada drops its tariffs, if Israel drops its tariff, you don't call it a cave. You call it, it's a compromise. It's a solution.
In reference to Israel, I've never heard, their leadership say anything derogatory about President Trump. However, Canada has. Canadian leadership consistently has gotten in front of the cameras and talked a lot of shit about President Trump, said a lot of negative things. So when you get in front of the cameras as leadership and say disrespectful things about Trump, and then you're willing to back down at the last second, it's a cave. That's what it is. That's what it is. So I agree with what he's saying in principle, but Canada needs to stop running their fucking mouth. Canadian leadership needs to start running their mouths about President Trump if they're just going to back down when the moment gets tough.
So you didn't cave on the talk time.
No, it was a solution. And by the way, that proves my point. She didn't really need to say that, did she?
No, because no one thinks that I actually eat into your talk time.
That's why I used you.
I ate into his. Just kidding. Jesse Waters, final
Well,
word.
that's because we don't know if Greg's serious about the talk time or he's just using it as a negotiation. The same thing's happening on Wall Street.
Yes.
They don't know if Trump is going to leave these tariffs up for years or if he's using them to negotiate those other countries to lower their tariffs. And you're already seeing other countries come to the bargaining table. And you've already seen $3 trillion of foreign investment come into this country. And that is more than Joe Biden spent on chips, infrastructure, and the Green New Deal. And that was taxpayer cash. And what did he build with that? He built nothing. Build back better never happened. And so you have to remember, this is also a part of the bigger economic policy of Donald Trump, which is tax and regulation cuts, cheaper energy, border security, and making things in America.
Okay. I like Jesse Waters. And I think all news people do. Like, I remember when I went to the Blaze and did an in-studio interview, and they're like, "Oh, well, you can go to the makeup room." I'm like, "What?" Yeah. We go in there and like, I sit in my house and do videos. I ain't about that life. But they had like a fucking makeup room. So all of these people do the whole makeup thing. Jesse Waters looks like he's going to a Marilyn Manson concert. He looks like he just walked out of a Linkin Park. He just discovered a Linkin Park album. Like, he looks, it's a lot. He's got a lot of makeup on tonight.
America. So this is focused on Main Street. Wall Street's going to do fine. Herald. This is a Main Street focused concept. And all the people that are saying that tariffs are bad, these are the same people that have overseen the absolute destruction of the middle class over the last 40 years. They say that we can't afford tariffs. We can't afford not to have tariffs. If you look at the last 40 years, the people making, the bottom 50%, they've increased no wealth. The top 50%, top 10% have seen an absolute explosion in wealth. And what was the context there? No tariffs, massive spending, and open borders. So what we need to do now, the world is changing, Dana. We do not need to bail out our allies after World War II. We don't need to fight international communism. Globalism has decimated the heartland. It's why they call it the Rust Belt. We created this monster of China, and they've just preyed on us. They just dump cheap goods into this country, and our Navy guides their cargo ships here. So that makes no sense. It's a national security issue. Like you said during COVID, we have to make medicine here. If we're going,
I think Greg's points about Trump's tariffs are the best of the panel, in my opinion, because it's very cut and dry with Trump. This is why when people talk about like, Trump playing 4D chess and all this, is like, I don't think so. Trump is a very smart guy, but he's very blunt and to the point. I don't think Trump plays like very many games. Obviously, you have to play some games. You have to move your chess pieces around a little bit, but he's pretty straightforward. And it's pretty cut and dry from how Trump operates, and it's why he's so effective. Because I don't think that he puts a lot of, different moving parts out there. It's like, I got something I need to deal with, and I'm going to deal with it head on. And I liked that because it's what I've said for years is that he's a counterpuncher. He doesn't sit there and pick fights with people that aren't messing with him. He simply just responds to whatever's going on out there. So I liked Greg's comments the most. Fantastic vs. Knox says, "Hail everyone. Anyone who's been around with Nintendo knows that they do this every time. Blame only Nintendo. You're absolutely right on this, Jeremy." It's always it's not Trump's fault, that's for sure. McCox says, on Tuesday's main event, you and me had a bet about launch titles for the Switch 2. You said Wind Waker or Twilight Princess. I said Breath of the Wild remake. I said Breath of the Wild. Oh, okay. But they didn't redo Breath of the Wild. It's just an upscaled version. It's not a remake. It's not a remaster. So technically, neither one of us were right. But I'll meet you in the middle. I'll drop some gifties. Where do you want me to drop them? Golden Nugget says, over here in UK, there is a concentrated effort to raise the issue of toxic masculinity. Now, why would they be on this? Yeah, I hear you on that. Let's see here. All right, where's it at? Your buddy says, keep at it, Jeremy. Let's see. I must have bid adieu, and 2300 comes early tonight. It's my Friday. Tomorrow, God bless you all. Thank you. And your buddy says, I'd get Jeremy pregnant if he took his hat off. That's no way to get me to take my hat off. Thank you for the 5 over on Rumble. Your buddy says, my E2 pay in 94 was under $800 a month. At the same time, we had $425 being the minimum wage. I think nationwide, 70 for a new game. Modern day Elon derangement syndrome. People can differentiate between window brands by taste. What is the minimum wage right now? I don't even know. What's minimum wage right now? Your buddy says, in 3 months, it's going to be fun to watch the market organically reset itself and see the mainstream eat crow. Apparently, in 2025, home prices went down. Zinny Biscuit says, it's a bomb could drop on your head day. 725? It's not 725. That's it? Figured it'd be higher than that by now. Okay. Classic Staying Lover says, I want my Made in the USA Switch too. Pat Patriot says, I work for a large manufacturer of HVAC equipment. We make nothing. It's all brought from somewhere else, mostly China. Some people are freaking out, and I couldn't be happier. Respect to the working man. That's a swig of water for the working man. Swig of water for the working man. Fantastic. Mr. Knox says, meanwhile, my country is having a whinge about how the tariffs are unfair. Seems to me that Aussies have tariffs against USA while having free trade with China. Meanwhile, China are shafting us with crap. I mean, what it seems to me is that these tariffs, there's long-term benefit from this. It's going to be pretty uncomfortable for the short term, but it can be pretty comfortable for the short term if everybody's willing to play ball. What you're doing is you're upsetting a lot of people who have been very complacent upon how things have been. And when you have somebody like Trump who's willing to change everything and make people uncomfortable, it's going to take them time to deal with the ramifications of that. And if they would just learn to adapt quicker, it could be better for everybody. But there's a lot of ego and pride involved in that. SBZ says prices for PC parts and action figures from Japan are rising due to the tariffs. I love Trump like y'all, but I can't defend him when I'm confronted with the current situation. Any advice? I don't know if you're dealing with like personal friends or family. I mean, I don't think people that have Trump derangement syndrome are worth even having a conversation with. I just don't. I used to think that having a conversation with people like that was worthwhile until I had enough conversations with people where compromise is not part of the equation at all. I mean, it's like earlier today. Let me show you this tweet right here. If I could find it right here. So, right here. So, I basically responded to Nintendo. Nintendo makes a tweet, and I say, you guys aren't mentioning prices for a reason. I think that's a pretty level-headed take. They're not mentioning the prices because they know they're getting blowback. This dude screenshots a comment that Razorfist made where I responded, and I says, yep, personally, I'm not bothered by it. Well, I'm not bothered by it. It doesn't mean that I can't recognize. So I said, admitting I'm personally not upset, but acknowledging that I understand others are is apparently a gotcha. Amazing. And then I just said, these confused gender confused freaks are mad when I'm too negative, and they're mad when I'm too positive. Mental illness. There's nothing I can fucking do. Like, I'm saying, I personally don't have a problem with the price because I'm going to put hundreds of hours into the game. But everybody else that's mad, I understand why you're mad. And you're justified for being mad. And apparently that's a bad take. How? How am I wrong for saying I have this opinion and I appreciate and respect everyone else's opinions that are different than mine? Somehow that's a gotcha. So that's the same kind of mentality that goes with Trump haters and Elon haters. There's no fucking point in having a conversation with them. But if you're dealing with friends and family, I have friends and family that don't completely align with my views on the world sometimes. And I have learned when it comes to family, the path of least resistance is always the best. Just be the bigger person. There's no use in creating family drama over politics. It's just not. Now, if there's a level-headed discussion that's there to be had, that's a different story. But if it's going to create a fight, just don't do it. Just don't do it. It's not worth it with family. It really isn't. It's just going to make you miserable. It's going to make the people around you miserable. And at the end of the day, it just makes for an awkward situation. And it's really not worth it. That's my advice, if you're asking for my advice. Hayden Wayne for 50 says the government program to help people pay their mortgage because of COVID ends this month. We could very quickly see a housing market bubble pop, but usually things go very slow at first, then all at once. It's looking like market correction soon. There you go, Hayden Wayne in the house. Thank you, Hayden Wayne. And McCock says ABF is live now. Okay, let's see. Is it the GCA? Is that where they're at? GCA? Let's see. I think that's where they're at, right? Or is it on, is it GCA or is it ABF? Let's see. Is that it? All right. So I got to go drop him on his channel. All right, here we go.
Like a Switch game, which is good.
Okay.
I'm leaving it on mute, by the way. I just wanted to talk
I don't know if it's going to show my credit card, so hang on just a minute. As soon as I drop it, I'll bring it back. Hang on. So we're going to drop 50 over here. Since I lost a bet. Here we go. Give me just a minute and I'll share my screen. Hurry up, YouTube.
Souls games
there we go.
Is you can encounter other players.
Yeah, but not that many. Not 8. Was it 3 usually?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh damn!
Shit.
A bomb has gone off in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen.
Two of them. And Macau. Holy.
Oh my God.
Whoa!
Awesome.
That's crazy.
Wow. Jeremy, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Holy crap. 50!
Twice 50.
I think that deserves a clip.
Yeah, let me find the clip. Let's see here. I had something. That's
awesome.
Just for
you got to think, like, let them know they got to thank McCock for that one.
Appreciate you guys. Shout out.
$500 donation there from both of you. That is absolutely wild.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's all right.
Wonderful
that was
personality.
It was worth it. It was worth it. Great
we
personality.
Also have McCock.
Yeah, I played it. I played the game for the personality.
All right, I'm gonna leave them V, but there you go, McCock. If whatever bet I lost, I'll take my L. I'll take my L. So there you go. Hail to the chat as always. The 199, everybody involved. We appreciate it, and it's always fun to have the support. We have the best group of people, man. We just do. We have the best group of people, and it's always fun to give back. So there you go, McCock. There you go. You know what? We both dropped 50 gifties on Ape. See, I didn't even see that one. So I didn't know you were going to do it. So there you go. I said 25 and I was like, screw it. I'll just drop 50. So you guys, and again, the amount of support that I get on this channel is absolutely insane. So I'm always happy to give back and I appreciate it. Thank you all for giving me the opportunity for being able to do this. Golden Nugget says, where's Sydney Prime? Now that's hot. Golden Nuggets, stop it. Final Halo says the issue is the precedent it sets for other devs. I understand that. I do. Alex McCarthy says, don't forget to enter code 199. That's right. Go to Meta PCs. Use the promo code 199. Jim P says, those clowns are making it sound like the Switch 2 is $4,000. Yeah, I mean, I follow a lot of the Nintendo channels, and I was not surprised at it being $450. The expectation was it was going to be between $400 and $500. It's $450. There you go. So Darth Manic says, I'm on the Nitros. Vault 95 says, Jeremy promised to bring back bragging rights if Trump won. He didn't, and also stopped gaming. The pain, Jeremy, make it stop. I know. But I am hosting Mario Kart tonight, so you can't be too mad at me. Default says, as the owner of a gaming YouTube channel, can you buy a Nintendo Switch 2 and Mario Kart World and write it off as a business expense? Yes, I can. Piano Dean says, I wonder if Japanese grandparents say, you think you got it tough. When we were your age, we had a nuclear bomb drop on us. Damn. Tom McD says only one game was 70 or 80 decades ago. Nintendo wants that to be the norm of prices. WTF, Nintendo. WTF, shaking my head. I don't know if that's the case, but that's, you know, that's the only one. They've only named one at that price so far. Darth Gavel says, leftist NPCs torching Teslas owned by leftists. Cue the Top Gear hysterical laugh meme. Tom McD says, it'll likely only get Mario Kart bundle and maybe DK for a Switch 2, while maybe getting Prime 4 and Pokemon ZA for Switch 1, maybe. Well, like I said, you're going to get plenty of entertainment from us. So that's going to be the best part of it. Madney says, personally, I have no problem paying $80 for a game. I have a problem paying $80 for some live service microtransaction filled propaganda, laden gay corporate slop, which is what most games are now. This is true. You don't get microtransactions on Nintendo Switch games, from what I recall. Or no, I mean not from what I recall. They don't do microtransactions. It never has been part of their gimmick. So others have, for sure. But I did want to see this one because there was this video on Elon Musk, because again, the Elon stuff is bad right now. And we've got this video right here that Dems go scorched earth campaign against Musk is very dangerous. So this is what I was talking about earlier with Elon, and how the hatred for Elon has hit levels that I think even top 2016 Trump. And it's really bad because he is just a private citizen at this point. He's not like an official government employee, and they are targeting him on a level that has rarely been seen. Now, we obviously had the Wisconsin race last night, and that ended up not going in the direction that anyone wanted. And I can't remember how much Schimmel lost by. Was it like 8 or 9 points or something like that? And I don't know. I don't know Wisconsin's, situation. I know that if people would have listened to Scott Presler sooner, meaning like top tier Republicans, they may have had a fighting chance. But no one listened to Scott Presler until it was too late. That's just the truth of it right there.
We are back with a Fox News alert. Liberals getting a special election win in the battleground state of Wisconsin in a court race that could have a ripple effect in Washington.
And in Florida, Republicans hold on to 2 key House seats, boosting their slim majority.
Well, Brooks Ingman is going to join us more on this Wednesday with the Tuesday result.
Exactly. Good morning, guys. The sweep in the Sunshine State means that Republicans now hold a 7-seat House majority. In Florida's 1st District, Republican Jimmy Patronis defeating Democrat Gay Valamont to retain the seat previously held by Matt Gaetz, who resigned back in November. And in Florida 6, Trump-backed State Senator Randy Fine beat Bernie Sanders-backed Democrat Josh Weil, Trump previously held by Matt Gaetz, who resigned back in November. And in Florida 6, Trump-backed State Senator Randy Fine beat Bernie Sanders-backed Democrat Josh Weil to win the seat previously held by Michael Waltz, who is now the White House National Security Advisor. So President Trump is celebrating these victories, saying, quote, both Florida House seats have been won big by the Republican candidate. The Trump endorsement, as always, proved far greater than the Democrats' forces of evil. Congratulations to America. Listen.
So I promise you this. You have entrusted me with something extraordinary, the opportunity to go and fight for you. I'm not going to let you down. I'm not going to let my family down. I'm not going to let my boys down. And I'm definitely not going to let my mom down.
CD1 is where the hopes and dreams of the Democratic Party come to die. Yeah! Let it be known that this election is a reminder that the Florida Panhandle will forever be red and it'll be forever Trump country.
Meanwhile, Wisconsin's Supreme Court will keep its 4-3 liberal majority. The election's historic turnout caused 7 Milwaukee polling stations to run out of ballots. Democrat-backed Judge Susan Crawford defeating conservative Judge Brad Schimmel in the most...
Was he a bad candidate? Or, I don't know the Wisconsin situation. So was he like deemed a bad candidate? Or was it just too late when people started to pick up on what was going on? Ran out of ballots seems very sketchy, by the way. Very sketchy.
Expensive judicial race in U.S. history.
My promise to Wisconsin is clear. I will be a fair, impartial, and common sense justice on the Wisconsin Supreme Court.
Nobody believes that.
And I want to thank everyone across the state who helped to get us to this point. I'm here because
somebody said Quartering thinks that the abortion situation. I saw Quartering talking about that. Look, I mean, abortion is not a winning issue. It's just not. You can feel how you feel about it. I have my own opinions on it, but politically, if you take a hard stance, against abortion, it's just not a winning political issue. It's just not. That's just the truth.
Of you.
Yeah, Democrats are seeing this victory as a referendum on Trump and Elon Musk, who joined the five and discussed why he spent his time and money supporting the conservative judge. Listen.
The reason tonight's elections are so important is that the judge race will decide whether the Wisconsin districts get redrawn. They're going to try to gerrymander Wisconsin to remove 2 Republican seats. And as you know, the House is currently Republican by a razor-thin margin, which means that losing this judge race has a good chance of causing Republicans to lose control of the House.
Meanwhile, the president hailed Wisconsin voters for enshrining the state's voter ID law in their constitution. Trump saying, quote, "This is a big win for Republicans, maybe the biggest win of the night. It should allow us to win Wisconsin like I just did in the presidential election for many years to come." Steve, back to you.
A lot going on.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Brooke. Here to break down what this means for Wisconsin's congressional map and future of the Republican House in the U.S. House, Fox's contributor Jonathan Turley. Hey, Jonathan, good morning.
Hi, Steve.
You know, this is not surprising. I mean, Wisconsin is a purple state. It's not a red state. Donald Trump only won it by a little bit. And it just goes to show you that you pump a whole bunch of money from both sides into an election, into a state in the Midwest, and people get motivated, and they turned out in droves.
I guess my question would be is, and you guys might, somebody in the chat can answer this for me, but like, why didn't, and I know Elon's busy, so I'm highly appreciative of that, but why didn't Elon show up there a month ago? Why wasn't more attention put on this a month ago? If it's that important, if it was that crucial, and you already had an uphill battle with it being a purple state. And again, Elon's a busy guy. He's had a lot on his plate. So I'm not blaming Elon by any stretch of the imagination, but I am blaming Republican leadership for not listening to somebody like Scott Presler, because Scott Presler has been screaming about this for a long time, and people finally just started hearing him a week ago, it seems like.
I think that's right. What's interesting, though, is that Crawford is very liberal. So this is a court now that's a little bit out of sync with a purple state. There's a lot of moderates in Wisconsin. I wouldn't call this a moderate Supreme Court. Just recently, the Supreme Court, the day before the election, heard an argument coming from the Wisconsin Supreme Court in which that court really laid down a devastating standard for religious organizations. They said that Catholic charities could not be exempt because they, quite frankly, don't pray enough, that because Catholic charities does not turn away people from other faiths because they don't proselytize. The Wisconsin Supreme Court treated them like Starbucks. And many of these justices really raised concern, including people on the justices on the left, and said that's a pretty bad standard. You know, you're going to put the government in a position of determining when you're praying enough, when you're proselytizing enough, instead of looking at why they're doing it, because they're the Catholic charities.
Sure. Indeed.
So you could see a lot more of those cases coming out of Wisconsin.
You know, and Brooke just had that soundbite where Democrats in Wisconsin say this is a referendum on Donald Trump and on Elon Musk. That's not the way it was presented. The Democrats ran against Elon Musk. They said he's the world's richest man and he can't buy an election. So it wasn't about Trump as much as it was about Musk.
Yeah, and I mean, Elon kind of put himself at the forefront of that too, which, again, I'm not blaming Elon Musk at all. I'm just asking the question of, like, I wonder why he didn't get involved sooner. It's not his fault. He didn't have to get involved at all. And to be fair, we can't rely on Elon Musk to save us from every fucking thing in the country. There's got to be a better system in place. And so it's not Elon's fault at all.
That's right. And there's this scorched earth campaign going on. I just have a column out today on this where Democrats are shredding many of the things they believe most fervently about. They're adopting anti-environmental positions, anti-labor positions just to get Musk. And it's really untoward, but also with the rise of political violence on the left, it's very concerning. It's very dangerous. And we're not seeing what we were hoping to see from Democratic leadership denouncing this campaign.
All right. And so going forward, given the fact that this is, as you said, a very liberal bench now, look for suggestions and rulings on abortion, labor rights, and, of course, redrawing a couple of those districts, right?
That's right. And this court was responsible for the loss of 14 seats when it rejected an electoral map. Notably, what it did, by the way, is it threw out the existing standard used by the Wisconsin Supreme Court to allow it to effectively redraw the maps. That allowed for 14 more Democrats to go into the assembly. And the expectation, in fact, all this money is on Crawford doing, voting in the same way to allow for 2 more seats in the House of Representatives to be lost due to redesigned districts.
All right. From the District of Columbia.
3 out of 4 is not bad. So, but it is disappointing that, Wisconsin went that direction. Darth Manic for 50 says, as someone who has lost people for being unwaveringly MAGA, I appreciate you, Geeks and Gamers, your crew, the chat, CobraCast. Haven't missed a Geeks and Gamers since the Acolyte, nor a CobraCast since Butler, PA. Love and respect, brother. Thank you. P.S. I am retarded. I know it. Of course you are, because you watch me, because I'm retarded. That's why it's okay for me to call you that. But thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. I am very proud of the crew we have. I'm proud of the chat and the community we have. We have a lot of awesome people. That's why, I know that you don't have to, I don't have to sit here and I can't make any mistakes today. My audience will turn on me. I think you expect me to make mistakes because I'm an idiot. And you guys always got my back, so I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the 50 amazing support. Michael says, can we have a moment of silence for the great Florida institution that is Hooters? What I heard about Hooters is that they were shutting down, but they were selling back to the previous owners. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means that the previous owners are going to do something with them. I don't know. Last time I went to Hooters was in California. It was a long time ago. I was very distracted. Very distracted. Jim P says, a potato sack on your head. Let's see. Ministry of Wrong Things says Nintendo is anticipating the alleged industry-saving price hikes, $100 per game price post GTA 6. If that's the case, Nintendo pulled a master move. Maybe. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Two Tires says, congratulations on the Musk baby. You need to convince Elon to name him Cobra or her GG. If Elon would respond to my tweet, but he's just ignoring me, I know what Ashley St. Clair's talking about now. American Advocate says, you have been looking extra pregnant lately. It's Elon's. I just want my $2.5 million. That's it. Pat Patriot says, Apprentice season 1, when Trump fires a woman for not defending herself, I was like, he's always been this person. I literally just watched that episode. I am not, just because of all this IRL stuff I have going on, I haven't been able to put a lot of time into watching The Apprentice. So I'm still in season 1, and I just got to that episode where she was the project manager, and she was actually really good. She had been good in the series all the way up until that project they lost, and she just wouldn't defend herself, and Trump fired her. I know exactly what episode you're talking about. Eric K says, Jeremy is proof you don't need looks, talent, smarts, charisma, or any entertaining value to be a successful streamer. You all can do this too, chat. That is true. That is true. Nullface says, Jeremy, you skipped over the best part. That was Dr. Claire Huxtable nodding approvingly at Trump at the very end of that clip. Dane Miller says, after adjusting for inflation, the Switch 2 games are at the same rate as the Switch launch in 2017. 80 today, 60 in 2017. That's where I'm at with it. But I'm not going to tell people to not be mad about it, man. If people are mad about it, I think that they should 100% voice their displeasure. I can't sit there and tell you I'm mad about it. Ministry of Wrongthink says he's saying respect them when they give us what we want. Incentivize positive outcomes with U.S. making it a I win is bad diplomacy strategy. I get it. I do get it. But at the same time, like, when somebody disrespects you, like Canada has Trump, Canadian leadership, it's hard not to fire back. But I get the point. I do. Philip Butler says, bottom line, it's across the board, VAT on all on all imports. Amazon, Temu, Lowe's, Walmart, and Home Depot prices going up. It will bring in $1 to $2 trillion a year. You know, I didn't know what Temu was until like not too long ago. I think it was from, was there a Temu ad at the Super Bowl? Am I right about that? I think that's when I became aware of what Temu was. I didn't know what Temu was. And I think it was a Super Bowl ad that they had. They had a Super Bowl commercial, and I'm like, what the hell is Temu? And I thought it was like, hey, this looks kind of cool. And then I looked, and I'm like, this is cheap as shit. This is a ripoff. Because the commercial made it look like it was legit. And I was like, what is Temu? I was like, oh, okay. But the commercial did make it look like it was legit stuff. Jim P says minimum wage in, is it Arizona, Arkansas, is $11 per hour as of 1/1/25. Your Barmy says, OMG, their 50s are weak. Whose 50s? People sending $50 super chats? No, they're awesome. We got Accident Seller says, whoa, I just tuned in, and damn, who is that hot chick in the skimpy outfit and the hot hips? Who is she? I need to know. What are we talking about? I mean, talking about this right here? Hang on. Talking about this? Hang on. Right here. Is this what you mean? That right there? This is Elon's baby mama, and I had to make a statement about the fact that I'm pregnant with Elon's child, and Elon has not responded to me, and I'm very upset about it. But if you're interested, if you have $2.5 million, we can talk. You may have a kid too, okay? But for there's got to be $2.5 million involved, okay? There we go. Lord Voldemort says it's Trump's fault. I couldn't poop this morning. Let's see. SBC says, no worries, Jeremy. I was just hoping we can see the benefits from tariffs soon. From now, my response to them is I'd rather take tariffs than DEI shit. This is true. Listen, Nintendo did drop like a weird game today. I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but it was really fucking weird. I'm going to show you because it's worth showing because I'm going somewhere with it, okay? We're going on a little journey here. I laughed about it. I think it looks funny as shit, personally. I think it looks funny as hell. Right here. Now, the reason I'm showing you this is because one of my favorite people on the internet, Ricky Berwick, responded to it. Here's Ricky Berwick, one of my favorite people.
Hey! 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 Now that's my game! I can get behind that. Drag X Drive. It's a wheelchair cripple game. That's what I'm talking about. It's a game for cripples. Yes.
I fucking love Ricky Berwick, man. He is the greatest, man. He is the best. That was such a weird game, man. Eric K says they ran out of ballots in Republican areas. Very convenient how that works, by the way. Solo Felix says, as Jay said, you can't rely on a Trump tweet to win. Very true. Administrator Fronting says Wisconsin was a referendum, but 2024 massive win wasn't. I know it's I don't know. I'm not sure I totally understand the importance of Wisconsin outside of the fact that all elections are important. That to me, like to say that Wisconsin was a referendum on Trump, but the election that we just had, the national election, is not a referendum on Trump. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It really doesn't. Solo Felix says complacency sets in until it's a little too late. Ministry of Wrong thinks so. So Elon can buy the U.S., but not one state. Okay, exactly. Brad Mann says Northern Republicans simply don't vote. They'd rather lose and complain about the big cities. We have the same issue in upstate New York. Everyone complains and then no one votes. Elections have consequences, and I have no sympathy. Well said. Well said. Earthbound Ian says, I cut ties with someone who I was friends with for over 10 years since he said anyone who happily voted for Trump is ignorant, C-word. Been sleeping better ever since cutting him out. Hail the 199. Hey, getting people like that and cutting them out is probably beneficial because there is a certain thing, where people can mentally drag you down. They can like their negativity can just drag you down. And if you're constantly walking on eggshells and tiptoeing around one of your friends because you don't want them to know you voted for Trump or that you fucking support Elon, like that is doing mental damage to you that you're probably not even aware of. And over the course of time, it's going to take a toll on you, not them. You know? And you're not doing yourself any favors by continuing to do that. A real friend is not going to disown you over a fucking opinion in politics. Just not. So Runs with Phantom says Metro's area holds too much political influence. How we fix it? That's a great question that's got a much bigger answer. But one of the main things is the continued rise of independent media. And I think that we're in a much better spot than we were even 4 to 8 years ago. The rise of independent media, I think, has changed the game in a lot of ways, but it hasn't fixed the problem. But I think it's helping fix the problem in a very slow, methodical way. Eric K says, used Temu once, bought a red dot. LOL, it was plastic like one of those on the fake gun toys. It did zero. They did not even bother painting a red dot. Is it that bad? Tom McD says, maybe I'll use the Switch 2 prices as a tax write-off since I plan on being a Twitch streamer with my HP laptop and Elgato capture card. I say go for it. Again, check with someone like an accountant first. You know, don't take my advice. Taker says, someone in daily chat said cripple double. Oh, my God, that's great. That's great. Ministry of Wrong Things says, Ricky Berwick presents. Ricky Berwick has better legs than Snow White. Accident Seller says, show that Jeremy Sweeney again. What? I can't do it. Not for that cheap. You gotta, the chat will get mad if I keep showing that. Force Geek says, if we play the wheelchair game, are we appropriating Ricky's culture, asking for a friend? Vault 95 says, I'd rather pay 5% more for tariffs than 40% income tax. Fantastic Knox says, I'd rather have the uncomfortable truth than a comfortable lie. The uncomfortable truth will end up being uncomfortable or being comfortable, and that's a good thing. Very true. Cole Hauser says, what's up, Jeremy? It's pathetic here. Liberals are poised to win here. The conservatives have screwed up, and they didn't focus on conservative policies. I know, Cole Hauser. Man, I'm sorry to hear that too, brother. I'm sorry to hear that, man. It's very frustrating. Axel Jensen says games were $70 to $90 back when games were good. No way I'm paying good game prices for trash modern games. I respect it. Delta Entertainment says, what's up, Jeremy? I'll be buying the console with Mario Kart World. Also accessories like controller charger set, probably the chat camera, but for the games, I'm always going to buy digital. I hear you on that, man. The 24-player Mario Kart is going to be crazy. We do have Mario Kart tonight on Geeks and Gamers Play. I got to get ready for that because I'm hosting it tonight. SBZ says, I'll get switched to later when they release a Bloodborne bundle. I mean, Dusk Bloods. That looks awesome. F-A-Day says, PC Master Race, bro, that's all. If I'm going to shell out a ton of money for a gaming rig, it's going to be on a PC. Well, it could be a Meta PC, and you can use the promo code 199 if you're interested. Great Tank says, Val gone soon, Jean-Claude Van Damme in trouble in Romania. Boyega is an A double snakes. Hail the 199, that's all I got. Is that Jean-Claude Van Damme legit? I think that's a deep fake. I might be wrong about that, but I think the Van Damme thing was I saw it going around and I think it might have been a fake, but I'm not sure. Samuel B says, thanks for the new material. Probably won't last a minute with that one. Teresa Young says, God bless America. Hail the 199. I love watching and will continue. You're my favorite idiot. IDOT. Greg Kirby says, bro, so Disney not learning again. They want to make, let's see, Aslan from Narnia a woman. Yes. Mr. Bentham says, Jeremy is not here to be easy on the eyes for us. This is true. Cole Hauser says, Carney got rid of the carbon tax, so gas prices down, and the conservatives don't have anything really to run on, something Pierre campaigned on. Yeah, I think Pierre's made some mistakes the way he's dealt with Trump. I think that's turned off a lot of people that might have supported him. Maybe I'm wrong, though. You're in the area, so you know. Magoose for 20 says Musk boosted Republican voter turnout, but reps don't get out the votes for special midterm elections. Dems love to vote, sometimes multiple votes. Dem politics is everything, not a referendum on Trump-Musk, just low propensity. I agree 100%, and you're right about that. Dems love to vote even when they're dead. Democrats love it so much that they vote even when they're dead. Isn't that interesting how that all works out for them? Zinni Biscuit says Virginia primary is June 17th. State election is November 4th for Winsome Sears, and you're a xenophobic, racist, sexist. I did that right? Of course you did. Thank you, Zinni Biscuit. Johnny Whiskey says, my only big problem about Nintendo's new direction is that from now on, games are digital or even physical cards. They're doing what Sony and Microsoft did with PS4 and Xbox One. That's a negative for me. 100% agreed on that. Okay, we got to end it there. I got to host Mario Kart tonight. That's happening in an hour. This stream will raid that stream. So if you guys want to join us, I know Krista will be there. I think Mike's going to be there. Steph will be there. I don't know if X-Wing's going to be there. Johnny will probably be there. I don't know who else. We're a little shorthanded tonight, but we'll have some people there. So it's going to be fun. So thank you guys so much for the support. Make America great again. Trump 2024 to save America. Trump 2028. Trump 2032, 36, 40, and then Barron Trump 2044. I appreciate you guys, and I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. I'll leave you all with Sabaton to close us out as always. Bye, everyone.